Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review X. They're dying to show you a good time.
Farmer's daughter, take one.
Written and directed by Ty West, this movie's about a group of adult filmmakers making a film. Trying to stay on brand here for YouTube. They're making The Farmer's Daughter, so the location has to be a farm, and they find one for only $30, but it's owned by some weirdos. We've got an old couple, a very aggressive man, and a very strange old woman, which we'll get into. And as they begin to film, things get kind of crazy overnight. Which leads us to our sponsor, Into the AM. The number one question we get asked on this channel all the time is, where's Jay's ice? But the second most popular question is, where'd you get those shirts? So we partnered with Into the AM, an apparel company that basically makes everything. They've got shirts, they've got hats, they've got pants. We're graphic tee guys, so they got graphic tees. I'm rocking this busted ass TV one.
I got this really sweet giant kraken of sorts holding some barrel of rum.
They have tons of great designs on their website. Like I've got some other ones. I've got some skulls with like rainbow goo. But the point is they're cool, they're light, they're something that we would actually wear, and that's why we're promoting them. And what's nice is they're affordable. You can get 3 of the graphic tees for $60, and if you use the code Bloodbath, you can save an additional 10% on your order. So check out the link in the pinned comment and the description, and check out Into the AM and see what they have to offer. And just a heads up, this will be a full spoiler review. If you have not seen the movie, we're just gonna talk about it. We're gonna do a little deep dive. We're gonna talk about our likes and dislikes, of course, but we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the adult filmmaking world, kind of. What do we like?
I think the cinematic style is fantastic. It feels like it is 1979. The transitions, the wipes, the split screen, the colors, it feels retro.
Yeah, and if you've seen Ty West movies, basically they all have a similar vibe, and it carries through here. I really love the cast. We've got a crazy cast in this one, to be honest. We've got like Mia Goth, who plays our main lead Maxine, and Pearl, our creepy old lady, which is kind of nuts. And we'll talk about why that's more important later. We've got Kid Cudi as Jackson, the male lead of their film. Brittany Snow as Jackson's co-star Bobby Lynn, and someone who is bound for stardom, Jenna Ortega as Lorraine, aka Church Mouse. She's Wednesday in the new Wednesday show based on the Addams Family. She was in Scream. She's in like just a ton of horror lately. But Lorraine and RJ are the crew filming, and the rest are adult entertainers and or the producer, which is Wayne.
Hey, everyone with a pulse is gonna lust after a piece of Maxine Minx once they see what you can do.
Why?
Because you got that X factor.
I really liked our cast. Like everybody in general was really cool. Just like the way they deliver everything. I don't know, everything is just cool. Is it like the 70s? Maybe it's just the 70s was just cooler.
Just because you feel like Jackson's got that Dolomite feel to him? Because he definitely was like extra cool in that like blue suit.
Would you like to come inside?
Much obliged.
The one thing I did appreciate about our cast is the fact that I cared about them. When you think about the adult entertainment industry, it has a bad reputation that you would assume that everyone working in it is not supposed to be likable. Every person here I wanted to see survive. These are actually nice people.
They're just trying to make a movie, an X-rated film. But unfortunately, there's some drama in the household because Pearl, the old lady, she feels undesirable, and her husband isn't giving her the attention that she wants or used to have. She's just constantly like thinking about her past, and she looks at Maxine and she's like, I was just like you, and now I'm old, and now nobody wants me. And it's like actually pretty depressing. Like you feel bad for her, but then she takes it to another level because she gets a little slashy. When after a day of filming, the church mouse says,
I want to do a scene in the movie.
Her boyfriend was just like, absolutely not. And he tries to book it, and he gets diced up by Pearl after dancing with him, awkwardly.
There are a lot of uncomfortable moments in this movie that involve Pearl because it's breaking personal boundaries.
What are you doing?
I never thought something would be more scary than Ernest Scared Stupid and there's a troll sleeping in your bed. This film definitely ups Ernest Scared Stupid. If I were to roll over and open my eyes and see Pearl stroking my skin or kissing my hair, I would probably die of a heart attack on the spot. Biggest jump scare of my life.
I couldn't sleep normally after that. I mean, assuming that I survived, there's no way I'm going to bed. Every time I turn over, I'm going to assume there's gonna be like an old lady rubbing me with her bloody ass hands.
We're gonna have to become Draculas and sleep in coffins.
I guess you would probably have to. You'd be so paranoid. I get paranoid over way more for way less. I really dig Pearl's story because she's like, she really just wants to be young again. And so there's a lot of like great juxtaposition when there's like a sex scene and then there's her putting on like makeup. It's so awkward, but like you can feel for her, which is scary when you're talking about the antagonist of a movie. When you can relate with them in some degree, or like you hope for the best even though they're still killing people, you're like, I feel weird now.
I could give you a ride.
It's cool. It's an A24 movie, so it is a little bit of a slow burn, but it was an enjoyable ride because you enjoy the cast so much. Everybody's cracking jokes. We got some like banger quotes. When Wayne comes out and he's like, hey RJ, I know you don't want your girlfriend like being part of the sex industry,
But you need to listen to me, okay? Because you ain't been 42 and I have been 23.
it would be an awkward situation. Even though RJ like seems like, okay, maybe he should loosen up, you still should take more time than like 5 seconds to make the decision if you want to jump into the sex work industry. Because, hey, I'm a big fan of exclusive content websites. But if I was on the set of a movie, would I want my girlfriend going and being a porn star right at the gate?
Depends how much you love her.
You can decide who you want to love, but not who you want to screw.
Like, I think if I had like more than 5 minutes to think about this, sure, go for it. But I think on the spot, I would be like, whoa, this is a lot. This is really a lot. I just don't want to like cuck myself.
It's your business, as long as the camera is running.
You saw that silhouette of his wiener in the doorway? I can't compete with that.
It is a weird situation, but then again, look at from Wayne's perspective of this thing.
We're gonna be rich. Feel how hard my cock is.
Going back to the cinematography, my favorite shot is the aftermath of Wayne's death. While searching for RJ in the barn, he accidentally steps on a nail and then he sees 3 little holes. Of course, you know what's gonna happen next. Pitchforked in the eye. And it was a beautiful match cut from the light switch too. But it's the shot afterwards when Pearl is walking towards Wayne's corpse. It's so nice how you see the silhouette. It just looks like she's the devil. It was the standout shot for me in this film.
I think even the opening, like going from like the 4:3 ratio from the barn, it goes to the widescreen shot. I just thought that was cool. Even like Mia Goth just going for a little dip and there's an alligator like creeping up on her. And just like her just sitting there, like that was like one of the main marketing photos was her like face in the water. I don't know, there's a lot. And I think that's what's to be expected when you go into a Ty West film. The craftsmanship is wonderful. I love the, also just like the, like everyone's costumes. Being nude in overalls is just an underrated look. I think more people need to be doing that. And maybe they are on farms, I don't know.
You mean not walking around in your tidy whities?
Yeah, I'd do that if I looked like Matthew McConaughey.
We kind of briefly touched on it, but the kills are fantastic in this film. Everyone we see, it hits you hard.
What are the other ones that we haven't talked about? We haven't talked about Jackson's. He is looking for Pearl by the swamp, and the son of a bitch old man shoots him in the chest because he's like, hey, you are teasing my wife. And it catches you off guard.
The same as like when Lorraine dies, so that's the other shotgun death.
We need to stick together. I hate you.
She like beelines it out the door. You just see her face just get blown off. You knew something was going to happen, but you didn't know what.
And then Bobby Lynn. It was telegraphed right at the Bayou Burlesque, right on the big billboard that she walked out of in like the opening shots that she was gonna get eaten by an alligator. And sure enough, she did.
Bitch.
This was my second time watching it today, so I was paying attention to a lot of like the background elements and stuff. There is so much more than your first watch. If you go back and you start paying attention to everything, it's really cool. When Maxine is talking to Pearl in the house, they're looking at pictures, and then we go over to the mirror, and it's as if that was a picture of Pearl herself. And later on that comes back into play when Pearl shoots the mirror, which is almost symbolism to some degree because she's sick of looking at herself because she can't live up to her past standards, which would be Maxine standing right beside the mirror.
Stop fucking staring at me!
There's a lot going on, and it's so cool. And I can't wait to watch it again, potentially with like commentary, and hear more about all of the symbolism, because there's a lot. Now, what didn't we like?
I don't like when movies start with the ending. Even if it doesn't give anything away, it's just a pet peeve of mine, and this is how this film starts, with like the closing shot.
I knew you were gonna say that, and that's fine. I didn't care because like while you're watching the movie, you don't really think about that first shot anymore. In a lot of other films, you do wait for it to happen, but in this one, I feel like you don't. Like you just kind of, okay, something happens here. We don't know what. What was in the basement? You don't really know. You find out what it was, but you didn't know when it was gonna happen, what it was gonna be. And I think that added to some of the tension, especially when like Jenna Ortega goes downstairs and she's like getting a flashlight and you think that something weird's gonna happen and nothing does. I'm fine, I got the light, I'm locked in here now, but I think it added to some aspects, but I would also agree. I'd prefer not to see anything. I don't think we got enough Pearl dancing. I think we needed more of that. I think the music was awesome, and I think that she could have let loose a couple more times.
It was an interesting paced film, given how rushed everything was. The second RJ disappears, there's no breathing room really. We just get right into it, which is not a bad thing, but at the same time, I think I would have liked to see how this film played out, where it was a span of 2 days of them on set. Like RJ dies the first night, and then they just assume he's gone because he's mad at Lorraine.
Wayne doesn't have 60 bucks, he has 30 bucks.
They were in it for the long haul. He left a little extra.
He's giving extra because he brought extra people, not because, hey, here's an extra day. It's like, oh, that's standard rate.
I threw in a little extra to sweeten the deal.
I didn't necessarily have many dislikes. I really like this movie. And I would say that I liked it more the second time. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I really enjoyed this movie, and I would encourage everyone to watch it again at some point, because you'll be able to pick up on a lot more, way more than we could mention in this video, because this ran a lot longer and I cut a shit ton out. Everything looked great. The characters were awesome. I actually liked them all, and I wanted them all to survive. And I also felt sympathy for the antagonists, which is weird in its own way, but means those characters were also built incredibly well. Maxine and Pearl being the same person, not only an actress, but in also just like basically replicating each other's lives, is very cool. And I can't wait for the Pearl prequel, which is coming soon apparently. And it had the right amount of gore for this kind of movie. I thought it was great. Everyone should check it out if you haven't. We've spoiled it all, so I hope you have checked it out already. But otherwise, I gotta give this 4.5 awkwardly hanging out underneath where the magic happens out of 5.
There isn't much more I could really say about this film, because I thought it was fantastic. From a cinematic standpoint, it was beautifully shot. I loved all of our characters. Any dislikes I have towards it is just nitpicky. What I didn't like didn't take away from it. I had a great time watching it, and it's got me hooked for the prequel, because Ty West has a really interesting style to all of his films, and I think he's gonna nail it with like an early 1900s period piece. So with that being said, I give this film 5 shower cries out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And don't forget to check out Into the AM using code BLOODBATH to save 10% off your order. Get 3 graphic tees for 60 bucks. Why not? Check them out. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay up to date with everything here on Bloodbath and beyond.
You're a fucking sex simp.